After more than 2 years, millions of blocks placed, and thousands of hours spent, and perhaps just one or two, or a few more deaths, it's time to slap a bow on this world because it is done. Awesome fun! What is up, dudes, dudettes, and dudes who defy description? And a hot, toasty, warm welcome to a bittersweet episode of Awesome Fun. Yes, it's that time. It's our last episode in this world before we head to the new one. But it is bittersweet. I'm sad to go, but so excited to stroll down the memory lane of everything we created. Now, we start here for two reasons, because this is where we ended our last episode. If you haven't seen it, go back, check it out, where we built this lunar lander and environment. There's even a cheeky satellite up in the sky as well. And this is also the spawn point of our world. So approximately 2 years, maybe just over 2 years ago, we'll find out when we hit some of the signs. It all began here in this spawn. Of course, it didn't look like this. It looked a lot more... Whoa, look out for the slow falling potion. It looked a lot more like this. And we hopped out of an area like this and just started exploring. It's always exciting when you very first start your Minecraft world. And we saw all this kind of forest area around here. There was a lot more forest here that I cleared out. And I started exploring in this direction. Now you can see there's nothing too exciting. It's just your standard terrain, bit of a spruce forest on the go. You know, you got some pigs, some McBacon styles going around. That's all, you're not McBacon, but looks similar. And I came along through the trees here, and I started to see some mountains. And this got me quite excited. You know, I was like, oh, some exciting terrain coming up. And it's quite amazing if you think, you know, we're about to have real proper mountains. But I still thought that these were pretty cool in the day. And I came cutting along through here. I'm sure I'd stopped, you know, taking down a tree at least. But I just kept moving towards the mountains. Now, the buildings that we'll start to see, of course, they weren't there. And I just kept going through the forest, working my way towards what I thought looked like kind of mountainous terrain. Then I cut across this area. Had a lot more trees than it does now, and it did not look like Thunder Canyon here. And I came along, and of course, this was not here, but we came along to the other side of what is now our iron factory in the blimp, past the dwarven mines. And I arrived at this point. Somewhere approximately here. Oh, I chose a noisy place to stand, where they're processing iron right now. And I saw this river kind of cutting through. It was a bit ravine-like. And this area I thought looks amazing. So of course, I wanted to cross to the other side after looking down over this area. I came across. And I came down to this area here. Now, it's hard to tell because of how much has changed, but it was this open area here with a big mountain over on this side here, more mountains coming down and around here, mountains coming across and over here, and a natural dip down here into a forest that was going down. And I thought this area was just beautiful to start setting up. Now, much like is happening now, once I reached here, I started to run out of daylight, and the first thing I did was dig a hole here on Friday, the 28th of June, 2019. So yeah, more than 2 years ago. I dug a hole into here, and this became my first ever base in this world. The original place with the original bed that it all began. And of course, as night fell, I cut my way through the back here, found some open terrain, and worked my way down to a mine. But this was where the whole thing began. I managed to find a great screenshot from way back when this world very first started. So you can see what I was talking about if you look there at the house where you see the purple and the blue in the center. You can see when I popped up over that hill, in front of me was this big open valley with the hills on either side. And then I'd recommend have a look at the hill that's on the kind of upper right hand side of the screenshot where you see the lava down. Keep your eye on that hill as your reference as we switch over to the current picture. And you can see that same hill's there, but it's sort of tops chopped off as it became a volcano. And you can see in the lower right hand side where the red roof of the barn is, it was kind of integrated into the terrain. And you can see how much more foliage has grown up around Jurassic Park. Tower Records has taken the place of the hill that was over there. So there's a lot of big, awesome change. I think that gives you a strong idea of why I chose this area. And that's enough of the sort of before and after pictures, I think, too. Because what I'd like to do in this world tour is we're not going to go around and look at every single individual thing. Most of the things here, they have their own videos. You can look in the playlist, you can catch every single thing being constructed are the most important things. What I'm interested in for this world tour is sort of exploring how I've improved as a builder, what I can learn and what we can all learn from builds, what you would do differently next time and what you think worked really well about some of the places. Because most of the things that are in the video, this main street sort of predates the video. And it's funny to look at this pattern, like it's very me, and I love the colors of it. But now, of course, I think I would use like 4 or 5 different blocks, and I would do more things to implant it into the road. I would do a lot more texturing, a lot more detailing than I have done in this. But I never wanted to change it. I sort of wanted to keep it so that it would give us something to look at and to learn. And things like this is obviously based on, I think it's Green. It was either Green or Rendog's design of a kind of RV from Hermitcraft, just with my own little twist on it there. And the same with this thing came from a tutorial, I can't remember which one, some modern building tutorial, and I of course just messed around with the inside. And this building was a library. You can see we've got Giles, E.L. James, and Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie? Agatha Christie! Yeah, Agatha Christie. And we've got the place where you can do your enchanting and stuff in here. So I personalized it. But this was kind of a go on a modern building. So they weren't my original ideas. This was kind of where I started at. Then when it came to this was me sort of branching into my first own original idea. And if we take a look above, you can probably see above us here now, this is just the sword from Minecraft. And I wanted to make this a bit like a village. Sort of villager trading hall, a mini one. We've got an actual proper massive one over there. But as you can see, somehow one of the villagers got struck by lightning. It makes it difficult to visit because, you know, it's pretty deadly. So yeah, you can visit. Obviously, this person doesn't sell anything, sadly. So okay, I'm leaving. The next thing I want to take a quick look at is my house. It's really like one of the very first things. It's been rebuilt a couple of different times, and it's just nothing, is it? Really, compare if you look at things like the buildings around it and the Ghostbusters headquarters and all the other buildings that exist. This is so kind of dull. The colors are cool, but it's just some like a rectangle. It looks like a PC tower with like a brick sitting next to it. I do love the tower, but I don't even know what I was thinking when I built it. What a bizarre block palette choice to like, let's have this crazy red marble and we'll have obsidian and another kind of the crazy terracotta and bookshelves and lights and fences and carpet. Yes, all very sensible things to combine, but there's something about it I love. It has some unique character. If we take a look inside, I really love the execution of the interior, as well as it being just my favorite colors of all. I had some good thoughts when I was basically designing it. So this upper floor, alongside being a bedroom, is like a museum to all the things that I've done and collected. So inside we've got the dragon's egg, the wither roses from the first wither fight, the wither skull, first elytra, the banner from the first end city, gold blocks from the ocean monument. We've even got like an underwater heart of the sea thing going on in there as well, conduit. Our first creeper head from a thunderstorm, and of course the dragon head animated as well. So it's a little museum. And around here, I did used to have one of every food item. The only one I never found in all these over 2 years of playing was an enchanted golden apple. But because of the lag in the area, I took them out of the item frames and stored them instead in this little unit here. And of course, we have our good friend, Frienderman, who is, of course, the guide for the museum and helps you out with the tickets. So the upper floor was like a museum to remember fun adventures and things that we'd had. The middle floor is what I called the war room. So this is where I did my planning for expeditions. So here we can see a large map of the area, what it kind of used to look like a little while ago, what it looks like now. At this very moment as well. It's really cool. I especially love how cool does the little Star Trek shuttlecraft look on this upper version of it with the phasers firing. It's a really cool cartoon. So this is our war room, so we can plan things, make maps as well. Of course, in here we have our armor and backup gear as well. And of course, we have all the different armors, the blast resistance, fire protection, all those kind of specialized armors in there. We have our bows that we used and that were too expensive to repair. And of course, we have our record collection where we can listen to some tunes. Back there, we can do some brewing. And then on the very bottom floor, probably most time I spent in the world was in this very room, going back and forth, opening all of our chests for all of our different items. So that gives you a little insight into the very first things I built on this world that were never featured in any videos. And it's interesting when you think about what you learn, because I guess my goal, my dream, my ambition in Minecraft is to one day become a master builder. And so it's important that we learn from our early things. So in the earlier game, I had some interesting ideas, especially that tower, with block palette choices and colors and things like that. But the builds were very simple shapes. Also, did things like copying things from a tutorial like this, copying this from another video. And when I did have my own idea, like using the sword and things, it was a bit clumsy in the design because I guess I didn't really plan ahead. So then when we started the series, what I wanted to do was try and do all of those things that I hadn't done before. And so our very first build here at the Ghostbuster headquarters tries to do a lot of that. Let's have a quick sleep and we'll get on with it. Much better. So yeah, we have our Ghostbuster firehouse. This was my first ever thing I did on video. The first ever build that I did where I built it and sort of planned it and reorganized it. How I built it is that I had to look at the Lego design for the Ghostbuster thing because Lego's quite a good design to imitate in Minecraft because they're similar shape, although I guess I would feel that a block in Minecraft feels more like a sort of 2x2 block in the old Lego, so you don't really get the same, whereas like an end rod or something or a chain would be a 1x1 equivalent. But I kind of copied that design. You see, it's my first attempt to do some texturing where we have some bricks in there as well. It's pretty cool. If I was to build this again, I would make it 1/3 longer than it is just now so that we could fit one of our Ecto 1 designs on the interior of it, I think, too. I especially love the map art. It really does something special for it too. When it comes to the interior, I think there's a lot of really fun ideas in here. We've got the sort of place where the Ghostbusters get changed, Venkman's office, little Slimer going on there. We've even got smaller details downstairs, like a containment unit with ghosts inside it. You can hear them? Just. So we got lots of fun little details, as well as a couple of interesting play features, things like the pole that you can drop down. And my favorite thing would have to be something like Egon's little lab here where we've even got details like Tobin the Spirit Guide on the bookshelf. And yeah, as I say, we got this with some hay bales so that we're not supposed to take too much damage, but we still take a little bit. So my next stage in sort of learning was to do it by imitation, by copying not something that an existing design. This is like my own design, but copying things that exist in the real world. And moving on from that, I did things like upgrade KFC or OFC, as it's now called. But this is like a KFC that's near my house in real life, and I thought I'll try and build that and create that, and just make our chicken farm something kind of much more interesting here. And I think we. Why is there always bees in here, Colonel Sanders? Why is there always bees? And yeah, we really brought this to life with some armor stands and things too. So that's where we did some more imitation in order to keep learning. But then I thought it was important to try and have your own ideas, do your own unique builds. I know that they're not as popular things to look at on videos as like building a shuttlecraft from Star Trek, but the Starlight Drive-In was one of my biggest first initial builds that was just completely my own idea. I didn't even have a plan in place when I started building it, just like a sort of vision in my head of a retro kind of style diner, and I wanted to be able to put the names of the films onto the side of the drive-in theater as well. And I also wanted the drive-in because I wanted to be able to have an opportunity to make lots of different vehicles. And where better to do that than a drive-in theater? And Starlight, I thought it's good because, yeah, it's Starlight when you look at it. When you watch films, you know, that's the time to look. So I didn't have this idea that there was going to be a road or Route 66 was going to come through here at all. We just worked this in later, which is why it's a little bit rough, a little bit tight, and quite close to the barn there. You can hear the polar bears. I really love this as a design on its own. We've, of course, got the screen at the front, and then all of the many vehicles that we went to add in. Some real classics here. We got Ecto 1 in the back there, Optimus Prime truck mode, the A-Team van, Back to the Future flying car, Mr. Bean's Mini, Batmobile. Oh, so many funky little things. You can, of course, go back and you can see, I think there's a tutorial on how to build every single vehicle in this area. But this was a first build that was a combination of my own unique idea and then, of course, some pre-existing vehicles from the world and from fiction. Now, before we look at some of the best builds we've done this season, it's time to pay tribute to the farms who gave us all of the items, or a lot of the items, that helped this world come to life. So this one is for you, farms. Chicken farm, bamboo, sugarcane, wheat. Carrot farm, netherwort, snow and slime. Creeper farm, record farm, bee and iron farm, cow, pig, rabbit and sheep. Drown farm, wool farm, guardian farm, gold farm, last one, piglin farm. I'd also like to give a special shout out to our old friend, the flower farm. It was lost somewhere when I reset the nether, along with our wither skeleton skull farm. Both of those were lost when I reset the nether. Forgot to take the coordinates for the flower farm and the overworld, and obviously the skull farm was lost in the reset. So a special tribute to the two of those, and apologies to any farm that I might have forgot. But enough with farms, it's time to see what these farms, and for example, this is what the Villager Trading Hall helped produce, the amazing Fortnite agency. So let's take a look at some of our most advanced builds of the season. This is by far the most ambitious and largest build I have done in the entire season. It's just quite funny if you think that it really serves no purpose other than to look awesome. This, of course, is the agency from Fortnite, in case you didn't know. I'm not a Fortnite player myself. This was an audience member who requested this, and I wanted to challenge myself to go beyond my comfort zone in terms of build. So here we have not only buildings, of which there are several, we have the entire terrain. There was literally nothing here. You can go back and see the very first video and see that there was just water here. So we built the entire terrain, every tree, every single brick by hand. Oh yeah. Now, this place is awesome. I tried to make it as much like, oh no, it's not spawn proof. It's not spawn proof. Okay, so we've discovered one slight flaw. Why didn't you protect me, guard? Why did you protect me? Right. After that excitement there. So I'm not a Fortnite player myself, so I did play Fortnite in order to see this location in the world and make a video and try and replicate as much of it as is possible. So it is as accurate as can be. It's got lots of exciting play features, such as a conference room, I hope is in here, right? Yep, a conference room where you can drop someone in a minecart into the water underneath, which is pretty fun. It also has the secret vault and everything like that. Now, I think that I should address there is people do often say, you know, why haven't I made more Fortnite things? Because this tutorial, and this was about a dozen videos or something to make all of this. This was the most popular thing I ever made, and everyone's always like, hey Oz, when are you going to make the rest of the map from Fortnite? And the truth is, you know, Fortnite's cool and everything. I don't play it myself, but I like it well enough. But I'm not super passionate about it. So it didn't enthuse me to the idea of building the entire map and doing that thing. So I know it could have made me YouTube famous, but you know, that's just how it is. So here is the secret vault. You need to find the key, of course, drop it into here, and it'll let you in. It has defenses to attack you, like the turrets that you get in Fortnite that's there as well. But this was amazing. I even love the little computer monitors here at the desk. It's full of details. I really recommend you go back and check out the videos to see the proper sort of full tour of... Ow. It's a bit better than this tour. The full tour of this area, and you can see all the many, many areas that made up this location. And we can even go outside and see more of the locations. We've got the Fortnite respawn van down here, and it is a real respawn thing, Minecraft style, because when you hit it, you will get a totem of undying. So it's kind of like a respawn van. The chopper, which I think is my favorite, one of my favorite vehicles that I ever made. It looks great, and I think you could recolor that design. I'll be using that design again in future. I love that. And we also got the little boating thing with the boat there as well. But this, by far, was the most ambitious, and one of the things I'm the most proud of. I think the terrain particularly, and trying to make the trees look like they're from Fortnite instead of Minecraft trees with the wool, it is epic. Very, very cool. There's certain improvements that I would have liked to have made, like a bit more texturing instead of all just being solid quartz. I think I could have done more with the texturing, and I could have thrown in a bit more detail into some of the areas around here that feel a bit plain. But I don't know, maybe if they were too busy, it would take away from the building. But this, by far, the hugest thing we built. But not the thing I'm necessarily the most proud of. So let's have a sleep and see what's next. After we finished doing the Fortnite agency, it was a long build. It took around 3 months, so a quarter of a year, to design, build, gather all the materials, and make all the different videos that went along with it as well. So after that, I was sort of feeling like I definitely had pushed myself, and now I wanted to focus on smaller builds so that I could build things more quickly, not in 3 months, play the game more, have more fun doing that, and focus on trying to put detail and planning, careful planning into things, because it took, as you can imagine, like quite a lot of planning to replicate this and make sure everything fit in, and designed it on such a big scale. So it was a fantastic learning experience. And then to link the agency here with the rest of our area and everything, we built Route 66. So this spreads throughout the entire way and focused on lots of mini little builds here. So this is the big blue whale of Katusa. Hello to our employees that are working here. No, I don't want a hug right now. Thank you, though. Thank you. So we got the big blue whale here. I love this design for a sort of real life thing come to life. Lots of cool little detailing here in the fence, the little concession stand, the cute little picnic area, and visitors here. The sort of same idea carried on when we moved up to build the Wigwam Motel, which is another funky design. And I love, again, a bit of planning, let this nice symmetry of the shape of the road and the wigwams. I love that shape, it's really cool. I love the wigwams too, they're very funky. I wonder how many times I said that I love or do not love. Oh, hi, something in a in this episode. So all I say, I love this. I love this palm tree. I think this palm tree is very nice. Let's say that. But I love that one too. It's great. So I thought this was definitely another step up. Here's a redesign of the Batmobile since they added in all the black blocks. Even probably with Deep Slate, we can do something even more. So this is, yeah, a little redesign. It wasn't featured in a video. I just built it here because Batman is, I would assume, is staying, yeah, in there. This cape hanging up on the wall. Just enjoying the motel. Good old Batman. And then I think one of my greatest successes in detailing is this thing here. The Type 6 shuttlecraft from Star Trek, The Next Generation, and sort of Lower Decks as well. And I just think this has so much detail going on. So many different colors that just work perfectly together. It's just a shame about the banners that you have to be so close for them to render in so you see it. Even using textures as well. Sometimes you need to do something like, you think, I can't use wood when I'm building something from Star Trek because there's no wood in a shuttle, but it's the perfect color. And so it does work. And I think that's something you need to try and take a risk, take a chance on using an unusual material because it just might look good from a little bit far away. Just perfect. And I just think the shuttlecraft is the best vehicle I've probably made, the chopper #2. But there's so many vehicles, it's hard to pick. So we're almost coming to the end here now, and I think the last place that shows sort of how our talents have developed and how hopefully they'll keep developing is in this bridge, for one thing. This area here, this industrial area, had always existed. We had our sort of place for chopping down wood, we had our thing for collecting iron, and yeah, we had that all pre-existing in there. We also had a giant hole that we built to bedrock for no particular reason other than to gather resources. So the plan was to make these things look a lot better. And to start with, we wanted to connect this area with here using the road, but not just have the road there. We built a bridge. And this is a bridge similar to, yeah, what is it called? The Rainbow Bridge on Route 66. And although it's called the Rainbow Bridge, it is a white colour. And we always have to look at my favourite part of the bridge that is almost never seen. This funky pattern underneath. I love it. Also, this Pirates Cove that no one ever really goes, I guess. Except pirates. And then if we come over into this area, now the blimp was a pre-existing thing, but it wasn't as cool and refined as it was now. We came along, we improved it, we had these really funky wings, and the super cool propeller on the back of it. How good is this? So awesome. And we really improved that, and I think these areas are great. Everything is so defined. We've got the mini mines of Moria here, this dwarven mine, where you can see our dwarven king statue, this burning blue eyes, and there's the mines of Moria itself. Descends into the depths of hell with monsters and everything. We've got our wood area here, and I think a highlight of the wood area must be the wood chopper. If you come over and check here, you've got this guy here is feeding in wood, and obviously we're getting all the things you can make in Minecraft from wood coming out the side of it. Buttons, stairs, pressure plates. That's my favourite part of that. Oh, the truck's pretty funky too. Then we've of course got our iron farm, and what I really like is the piston feed tapes that make the factory look. So on this side, it's processing iron ore, and the other side, iron blocks are coming out there. And you've got all these robot staff who are busy directing the blimp in for a landing, and of course our robotic pincer arms that are being used to hold and drop in all of the things. I'm sure this will kick in a moment and start dropping stuff down. And of course, this is the end of Route 66, where we have our signs and things too. But I really think that if you look at the Fortnite agency build and then you look at this area and the types of builds, you can see a massive improvement. Don't forget all of our terraforming, of course, too, underneath here, where we terraformed this entire cliff edge and made this pretty swing too. And I have to say, it's it's definitely bittersweet. It's going to be really sad to leave this world because after over 2 years, it just feels like home. You come in and you know where everything is. You've got everything you need, and you're reminded of all these great times you had building everything. We didn't even talk about over there. Look, the oceanic aquarium, jaws popping out the water. Oh yeah, with all the fish and everything, every single fish, dolphins, the sacred squid. It's going to be sad to leave all of this behind, but exciting to start a new world. And you might be asking us, what's going to be happening in the next season? And the truth is, I don't really know, because come here for a moment. Let's talk up close and personal. Now, this is like the 50-something, maybe the 54th or 55th video I've made over 2 years. And I really love playing Minecraft, love doing all the builds. And making the videos is okay. I prefer making the builds more than making the videos. And I don't really know what I'm going to do going forward because, to be honest, I know not a lot of people subscribe to this channel, not a lot of people watch the videos. So I don't really know how much demand there is for me to make that. And maybe I might just stick to playing the game a little bit more because that's the thing that I enjoy too. And I guess I just thought it would be fun to share some of the things I did with people, and that's why I started the channel and hope that maybe I could inspire some other people who were maybe out there, maybe a bit like me, were a little bit lonely, didn't have anyone to share their world with. Maybe they would get a bit of inspiration too. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do in the next season. I have some ideas. I'm going to try something maybe a little bit different. So we'll look out for that. But if you've watched this series, any of the episodes, then thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate it. I know it's a thing that everyone says in YouTube videos, but I genuinely do because when I get a nice comment or a new subscriber or something like that, it feels fantastic just because it feels like someone actually appreciates something that you do, I guess. So thank you if you've ever done any of those things. And if there's something that you think I should be doing for another season, something to help inspire me and maybe continue on, then you can let me know. But if not, it's been fantastic to spend all of this time with you and share this wonderful world that makes me so happy every time I walk around. So the sun is setting on our day and on our final episode. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you take care out there, and maybe I'll see you again in the future for more awesome fun. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.